Hi folks, it's Richard Holmes at 3D Fit Life again, coming at you with a bit more information with regards to what we provide as services for your children. Specifically today I'm focusing on communication and how we go about dealing with the fact that every kid is different. You know, there's all sorts of different things to consider in that, so many variables, whether it's the fact that one kid's tall, another short, one's thin, another one's more athletic, maybe another one's overweight. And then in an emotional capacity, you know, you've got those kids who maybe are having a tricky time at the moment. It might be that there are issues at school wherein they're, for instance, getting in trouble, or maybe they've just turned up to one of your sessions having just come out of detention. Maybe they arrive at your sessions really on a high. Maybe they just passed an exam, or maybe they've just got their first relationship with boy or girl, or however. I mean, all of these factors are few, but and obviously we can go on about all of these variables, but as far as we're concerned, when they arrive at the sessions, we're about basically trying to get the best out of them when it comes to fitness. And so we have a model which we can use to simplify all of these different variables that come with a child to a session, and ultimately enable us to communicate with them effectively such that we can get the best out of them and they can get the best out of themselves. So there are two key indicators or variables that we could manage when we're in sessions. The first is the skill level. So on that basis, every child is different. What we're on about here is their ability to perform the tasks: press-ups, running, jumping, lifting, and their ability to do those tasks. The other option there, the other indicator or variable we're interested in, is their motivation. Now, motivation is a simplified way of looking at their emotional state of mind, and we know there are so many different variables with that, but ultimately it's how well invested they are in the session they've come to, how invested they are in their ability to do the tasks that are put before them when it comes to the skills. So as far as we're concerned, there's a model we have, and essentially it's a matrix that we work to. And this matrix we'll just split 4 ways. So in this upper quarter here, what we'll have is those, in a sense, who struggle with motivation, low motivation, which could be due to, as I said, the fact that they're going through emotional issues at school, at home, with their friends. But this sort of person may well be low in skills. And that could be due to the fact that they might be overweight. It could be the fact that they don't have the athleticism to be able to perform the skills that they would like to. So these are the sort of kids who, in essence, make up the pack. They may well be towards the lower end of the skill ability, or at least in so much as their ability to perform. And we recognise this. We recognise this by, in effect, making sure that within a group setting that they are directed. And bearing in mind that we have all of these different kids to manage in any one session, they're the sort of kid that might get a little bit more one-on-one time. They're the sort of kid that, you know, we're trying to make sure doesn't feel intimidated or doesn't feel nervous in our environment. So from an environmental point of view, we try not to encourage too much or any type of overt criticism, at least negative in any respect. We're about keeping things as positive as possible, but giving them the information they need to be able to improve. So we don't want to draw too much attention to this type of person, and we may be inclined to just have a little word with them one-on-one, you know, lower the tone of our voice and make sure that they feel comfortable with the information to be given, so we can take that away and improve. The other type of person that we'll consider, as far as low motivation, may well be high in skill. They're the sort of person who are naturally gifted, they get it first time, but yet they're not the most sure of themselves. Maybe they lack confidence, maybe they're shy, maybe, you know, for one reason or another, they may well not want to be there, you know, at that particular session, at that particular point in time, for any number of given reasons. You might well recognize that in your own child. And on that basis, what we try to do with that child is inspire them. We honor their high skill level, but ultimately we're not in a case of basically trying to tell them, come on, you can do better than this. You know, clearly you've got the skill. But what we try to do is work with them in so much as making them appreciate just how good they are. So we use them in demos when it comes to performing a particular task. Rather than me do it, I'll ask one of those to do it if they're up for it. We'll not push them to do these things if they don't want to. But inspiration is important to that child, because that is something that can change under those circumstances if they're inspired. Let's flip it over as far as motivation is concerned and look at those who might be the opposite, i.e. highly motivated, but they're low in skill. This type of child is there on time. This type of child is probably even there beforehand, ready and raring to go. They just have a real thirst for life, a real passion for living, and they enjoy doing what they do. They just don't necessarily do it the best. They may lack coordination, might be a little bit clumsy, but emotionally they're invested. And these are the sort of kids which need guidance. So they need just pointing in the right direction. They need steering rather than stopping, if you know what I mean. We want to make them feel like the way they are isn't bad, but ultimately we want to make sure that they're safe, so that they're not doing things which could potentially put them in their health and safety in jeopardy, or indeed other kids' health and safety in jeopardy. So we're there with them to work with them and guide them. The final type of person is highly motivated, which you can appreciate. But also high on skill. So that sort of person has it all. They seem to not need that much coaching at all. They can coach themselves, but the reality is they're still children, and this is an opportunity to lose them if we're not careful. So what we want to do is make sure that we give them some buy-in and delegating some of the responsibility for the sessions, whether it's again doing demos or indeed leading some of the sessions in terms of the tasks that they can do, enables them to develop as well. So that in a sense is what we're about. And if you come down to the 3D sessions, you'll get to see this in full effect. Below this video you'll be able to put any comments and feedback on that, and also if you want to contact me, Richard at 3dfitlife.com. Thanks for the time you've taken to listen to this. Peace.